A devout Christian woman has allegedly died from marijuana poisoning or a marijuana overdose, as it is being described by some. This is out of the Daily Mail UK, and this is in the United Kingdom. Gemma Moss, 31 years old, was killed by the level of the drug in her blood, according to the comments made at an inquest by the coroner. The regular churchgoer was found dead in her bedroom, is thought to be the first woman in Britain known to have died directly from so-called cannabis poisoning. There is one man who, I think a few years ago, 2004, 36-year-old man from Pembrokeshire, became the first known person in the UK to die from cannabis toxicity. She smoked half a joint a night to help her sleep. She had been a frequent user, stopped for 2 years before her death last October. The reason we're talking about it now is we finally have heard the report from the coroner in the inquest, and the designation has been marijuana poisoning, essentially. This is very controversial because a spokesman for the National Drug Prevention Alliance, David Rain, says it's extremely rare and unusual for a coroner to rule death from cannabis abuse. Carolyn Stewart, a coroner's officer, said it is very rare to have cannabis toxicity as a cause of death. She was a healthy 31-year-old woman who had nothing wrong with her. Something about this does not make sense to me, Lewis. There is no report about whether she was or was not drinking at the time. And as we know, different chemicals can interact with each other in ways that can be unpredictable, particularly in people who have some kind of underlying condition. But that was not the case here at all. Have you ever heard of anything like this?
No, I have not. But I do know that while cannabis not being legal there, you never really know what you're getting and what's in it. I wonder if they did all the proper testing for other poisons or chemicals and things like that, because who knows? Who knows what it was mixed with?
We know smoking anything isn't good for the lungs, but that does not typically cause acute death. It can cause kind of chronic respiratory related and lung related illness. We know, according to some studies, that marijuana can increase your risk for a heart attack, particularly 1 hour after use, but those studies are not without their counter studies, which show that that isn't apparently the case. We know that marijuana can mess with mood and depression and anxiety the same way alcohol, for example, can, or not smoking cigarettes after being addicted to them for a while. So suicide could be a possibility. There's no evidence that that happened. This is causing huge debate now over the safety of marijuana. But we should remember, Lewis, even if we do believe that this particular death was related to so-called cannabis toxicity, we have people who die as a result of drinking too much alcohol all the time, and it is still legal, and it is still not subsidized, but administered by the government, so to speak. And if that alone is the reason to make something illegal, then like I've said many times, alcohol and cigarettes should both be against the law.
Right. If this story is true, this is the first time that either one of us has heard of this happening. But even back in our hometown, there were instances of people dying, not even in automobile accidents, just dying from overconsumption of alcohol.